Hi, everyone. We'll give a couple seconds just for everyone to kind of enter the Zoom room. For these large Zooms, it takes a couple seconds or a minute or two to get everyone filtered in. All right, it's 2:01, so um, I hope everyone who's joining us has hopped on, and we'll get started. So, hello, welcome to Starting Strong, Living, Dining, and Thriving at Penn. I'm Alice Crogan, and I'm a part of the Residential and Hospitality Services team. Today, you'll hear from two other RHS folks, Ted Morrin from Penn Dining and Mark Cordova from Residential Services. You'll also hear from two more of my colleagues, David Fox from New Student Orientation and Academic Initiatives, and Trina Sokoloski from College Houses and Academic Services. Before we dive into the need to knows, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate and acknowledge to the parents, students, family members, and supporting players on this call who have worked hard to get here. And that's what we're discussing today, the continued support and shared responsibility that students will be receiving to arrive on campus, settle into their college house and academic life, and thrive. So first, this session is being recorded and will be found on the new student orientation website in the next few days. And I think someone is going to drop that website where you can find it into the chat. Here is a quick look at the agenda. So you know what to expect in the next hour. We'll be going over new student orientation, getting settled in your college house community, move-in and logistics, and how to get started with your dining plan and Penn dining. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A. Oh, we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end, and we want to answer your questions. So how to participate in the Q&A? You'll use the Q&A feature that you see in Zoom to submit questions throughout the presentation. And at the end, we'll have about 20 minutes to address those questions live, and we'll address as many of them as we can. We'll also share some information at the end on questions that we didn't get to, how you can get those questions to us and connect with us. And now I'm going to hand things over to David Fox, the Director of New Student Orientation and Academic Initiatives.
Thank you, Alice. I hope everybody can see and hear me. I'm David Fox. I'm the Director of New Student Orientation, and today I get to be the face of New Student Orientation, though I would like to start by acknowledging that we have a significant staff of 4 professional people. That includes me, as well as 9 student interns who've been working full-time, and we will also have quite a number of student volunteers, part of our FINS program. All of us are here to make the process of new student orientation as exciting, as fulfilling as it can be. We are very excited also to welcome you and your families to the campus. When we talk about new student orientation here, we're often generally specifically focused on what I think of as immersion NSO. That is to say, the 5 days when students are on campus before classes start and really learning the ropes here by getting a sense of the campus itself. But I also really think of NSO as a kind of 3-part process. And it begins with Thrive at Penn, which is the online module that will be available to students beginning on August 1st, with the sense that on their own time, they can go through this and get a real start on what on learning some of the basics about what the campus is. This is as I say, this is a virtual orientation, which is available. It's available online. It covers wellness, safe living, academic integrity, and more in multiple modules. It also covers a little bit about the Penn Reading Project, which I'll talk about a bit more in a minute. This is a mandatory process. Students can do this on their own time. It generally takes 2 or 3 hours, and it's also something that continues to be available to students and families so that you can kind of go back and answer your own questions as you do this. So that is what I think of as the first phase of NSO, and it begins, as I say, before students actually arrive on campus. The major portion that we are working on and have been now since May, even a little bit earlier than that, is the in-person NSO, which is, as I said, the 5 days that happen on campus. And Alice, if you can switch the slide, I think the next one will give us, yes. So what to expect during NSO? Let me talk a little bit first about what I think is our goal here. And I think we have multiple goals, and depending on who you talk to on the campus, you might get a different answer for what the most important thing is that happens here. But I would say, first and foremost, we want students to get a general sense of what it means to be at Penn. And I say this in the largest possible way. The resources that are available, the people who are here, the academic specifics of this. I think if you were to talk to the deans and the faculty, they would say they want students to have a sense of what they're going to get when they go into the classroom, which will be in many cases rather different from what they had, what students have had previously in high school. In terms of college houses, and I will soon introduce Trina Sokoloski, my colleague, it will be building community, and building community is a very important part of this. It will be getting to know like not only everything at Penn, but the other thing I think is really important is for most of our students, they're also new to Philadelphia, and they will be members of the Philadelphia community, citizens of Philadelphia, for the next 4 years. And we like to look in our office at Penn as trying to accomplish all of these goals. I recognize that this is a lot to do. No student should feel that in 5 days they're going to learn all of this. I would say that having been at Penn now for three decades plus, I'm still learning new things every week, and certainly your students, our new students, will be doing the same thing. But we like to get things started. So as I say, in-person NSO, August 20th to 25th. It will begin with college house meetings in the college houses where students will live, so they'll get a sense of getting to know their communities. There are many, many events. Some are mandatory, many of them are not, but are optional ways that students can find areas of interest for them. But there are a handful of events that I want to spotlight today because I think they're really important. The first and major one is the President and Provost Welcome. These are going, actually, this, not quite in chronological order. Yeah, I guess they are in chronological order. This happens on the steps of College Hall. Families are welcome to stand in the beautiful area of College Green and get a sense of this kind of the general kind of excitement of finally being here. Penn Spirit Day is an event in the Palestra, the historic Palestra, which will introduce students and will kind of formally welcome them in a sense, but it will also introduce them to many of the resources and people that they will get to know across the spectrum of the university. It's a kind of fast immersion session for about 2 hours in which students will really get a sense of the greater part of the world of Penn. A couple of our favorite events, one of them for certain is the Philadelphia Museum of Art evening event. It's a gala thing that we've been doing for 20 years. For those who've already been to the museum, you know what a beautiful it's a major art museum, one of the world's major art museums, located on the Parkway, kind of right above, with a fantastic view of downtown from one side of the museum, and you can see the high rises of the campus from the other. There's dining, there's dancing, there is, of course, this extraordinary collection to look at. And again, I think this is a really important part of students understanding what it means to be in Philadelphia, not just at Penn. The Penn Reading Project is a shared intellectual experience. This year, we're a little bit out of the box. We're not doing a specific text. We're doing a museum exhibit that's in Penn's extraordinary library, the Van Pelt Library. The Kislak Center, which is the 6th floor, is this amazing resource with galleries, with seminar rooms, with smaller libraries. It's a fantastic place. We'll bring students into the library itself on Thursday, um, but through the magic of Thrive at Penn, they'll be able to get a preview of this and a sense of this amazing exhibit that is the centerpiece of this, called Revolution at Penn, which looks at the birth of the university more than 200 years ago. It sort of dovetails with the 250th anniversary, obviously, of the country that we're going to be Declaration of Independence that we'll be looking at again this year and next. But how the university was formed and the role that students played in creating that mission. And then finally, as a sort of culmination of all the events that go on in NSO, there's the convocation. This is on the steps of College Hall, again with the entire class seated in front, and a dessert reception that follows. It will be, I can promise you, a jam-packed, exciting week, overwhelming in some ways. But the final thing I'll say here is that we understand that the NSO we're talking about is a particular time period, but orientation is something that is going to go on for students for the whole of the first year, probably into the second year, and in some ways even beyond that. And our office is here to help at all phases of this. So with all that said, we look forward to welcoming you. And I will now turn this over to my colleague, Trina Sokoloski from College Houses, to talk a bit more about the residential experience of campus.
Thank you, David. Hello, everyone. As was said, I am Trina. I am one of the senior directors for College Houses and Academic Services, and representing the faculty, the professional staff, the student staff, the team of students and professionals who are here supporting your students where they live. The College Houses on campus, we hope to create environments that become your students' home while they're at Penn. And what's important for you to keep in mind to know is that concept of home and community. Those concepts of home and community are very important to us. And the folks that I just mentioned are the ones who work with your students and collaborate with your students to make that happen while they're living on campus. The house directors are the full-time professional staff in each college house who work with the live-in faculty members and with the resident advisors to facilitate different types of activities and initiatives, to be able to engage in different supportive practices, to all towards helping your student thrive, helping them problem solve, helping them address different challenges they may face, and celebrate their successes and celebrate their experience while they're living on campus. Those types of activities range from what David talked about earlier in terms of that first College House meeting during new student orientation. The College House meeting is really intended for the students to meet each other and be able to connect and start to learn about who's in their college house, who's in their neighborhood, who they are going to be sharing their college house experience with, as well as learn about the faculty and staff who are there to help them and who they can go to for help, and all of the different bits of information that they need to know in order to have a good experience, positive experience living in a college house. So at that meeting, they'll meet their house or at some point during new student orientation, during move-in, during that meeting, they will meet their house director. That's, as I said, one of the leaders of the college house communities. They will meet the house faculty. Each house has 3 to 4 faculty members who live in the community with it as a part of the community. They are responsible for facilitating academic and intellectual activities, hosting different sorts of events, and really there as even outside of those events and activities, they are there providing support and assurance to students. And so that can be anything from, informal interactions, asking questions about, students can ask them questions, for advice about how to approach different conversations with faculty. The faculty that live in have come from a range of academic disciplines, and so they become really wonderful resources when it comes to curiosity about research areas or career paths in different academic fields. They will also meet their house coordinator at some point during the first week of their of living on campus. The house coordinators are provide administrative support in the college houses, and manage the are in sort of office manager role with professional office manager role within the college house. The resident advisors are the student staff members. There are student staff in each college house, and they are available to, again, help students come together, help them make connections with each other, with the overall college house, and then with the Penn community. They're there to, again, through different activities, events, informal conversations. The resident advisors they're all, trained in a variety of different skills and knowledge areas to support their approaches in their work with students. And so they are there they're there in that sort of kind of mentoring and community building role. And then the final resource that I wanted to highlight when it comes to the college house staff and the resources available through the college houses is our tech team. We have professionals in the college houses and student staff members, but our professional team devoted to supporting computing and networking in the college and network in the college house. And so if a student has a question about printing services, or they need help troubleshooting something with their computer or their network connection, we have a ticketing system, and we have staff that are very knowledgeable and able to help answer their questions. One of the key pieces, and we've talked about just the importance when we talk about community, we are really talking about helping students to be able to have the resources and supports that they need to feel like they're at home, and also to be able to communicate and share the college house space with their new neighbors. And so, and we have lots of staff and faculty devoted to that, helping students to feel like they are that they are, like I said, be able to thrive and promote and take care of themselves, and take care of themselves well through not only the college house resources, but getting connected to campus resources as well, and then that they are supported in their academics, and that's in a variety of different ways. As the key pieces here, now we've talked about who's here to help. I strongly encourage you, as you're learning about your student, once your student moves in and they are experiencing life at Penn, it's important who they can go to for help. And so we want to hear from your student. And so encouraging them to ask questions of our staff, reaching out to their house director if they do need help with something, participating in activities. Those are all things that are going to help students be successful and build their home at Penn. And we have more information later in the session that you'll be able to see some contact information and ways to get that help that I'm talking about. But please be assured that there's a whole network of folks really devoted to your students' successful and positive experience living on campus. And so I am now going to turn things over. I am going to turn things over to my colleague in Residential Services, Mark Cordova. Thank you.
Thanks, Trina. Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to welcome your students to their new home in just a few short weeks. And so I'm our Assistant Director for Building Operations, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the move-in process, how to get to campus, and what resources are available for you through the move-in process. We invite you to sign up, to have your students sign up for arrival times as early as August 18th through August 20th. And those time slots will be available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, with the exception of Wednesday, August 20th. Our time slots will end at 3 p.m. That is so that way your students can drop their items off and make their way over to those orientation activities that David spoke about a little bit earlier. A big thing to note is during the move-in days, there is extra heavy traffic in our neighborhood of the city. So please be sure to allow yourself some extra time to get to campus and help alleviate some of that stress. Additionally, if you're driving into campus and utilizing 76, the Freeway 76, to make your way into campus, I strongly recommend that you get off at Walnut Street and take Walnut Street into campus. All of our college houses are kind of oriented around Walnut Street, so it's going to be quicker and easier for you to be able to park and unload your student items right next to their college house when you come in that way. Other ways to get in include University Avenue, which also has a lot of throughfare traffic just with city traffic. So Walnut Street is your best bet. Like I said, the street parking adjacent to all of our college houses will be on reserve for move-in during these periods. So as long as you're showing up during the time that your student selects for arrival, we will be able to secure you a parking spot for an hour in order to help unload your student, drop their items off. We can go to the next slide. As you're moving in on one of those 3 days, plenty of folks in red polos, red t-shirts will be around to help answer any questions you have, to help direct folks. We have a team of professional staff members as well as student workers who are around and able to help out with really anything you have. You'll notice as you arrive to campus, we have a variety of tents and pavilions set up for students to be able to collect their Penn cards. So you'll park, start the move-in process, and their Penn card will be there waiting for them. After the 1 hour next to your college house, we do offer complimentary parking in one of the university garages. That is available from your students' move-in time all the way until 9 p.m. that day. Please be advised there is no overnight parking, but you are welcome to stay parked in there and help your student decorate their room, all of those wonderful things, and help them feel settled in. For additional information, please visit our website under the Day of Move-In page for building specific information. I'm also going to highlight that last week we hosted a move-in specific webinar, which has been published on the Residential Services website under Moving Info. So you're welcome, if you were unable to attend that, to go back and review that, as it will have just a breadth more move-in information. Additionally, our Day of Move-In webpage has building specific information. So if you're looking for something specific to your student's college house, it's all going to be listed there for you, including the intersections to try and get yourself to in order to move in. We can go to the next slide. In addition to the myriad of professionals that Trina and David have already talked about, we also have 24/7 information centers. They're akin to a front desk, if you want to think about it like that. It's basically your one-stop shop to seek help with any facilities questions, getting directions. We have a virtual guest pass system that will open on August 1st. And run throughout the academic year. And so that's a place where you can go for assistance with guest passes, as well as a myriad of other resources, both technological and regular. Something you can expect as you arrive to campus is that the rooms will be cleaned and furnished. We are ready for you and your students to be here with us. And so those spaces will be ready for you upon arrival. So with that, I am going to turn things over to my colleague Ted to talk a little bit about dining.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good afternoon, at least from here in Philly, everyone. So great to get a chance to talk with you. I'm here to cover, in what is probably an insufficient amount of time, what dining is going to look like for you all during NSO. Dining is one of those things that probably translates worst over an online Zoom, but we're very excited to get all of you to come join and dine us during your move-in and beyond into the academic year. So there will be plenty more information. I just want to start at the top by saying you'll have plenty of information to review schedules, hours, how your plan is going to work, where to go, when your dining plan is going to work for you. That's all coming, don't worry. This is just to give you a brief introductory overview of how the process is going to work once you arrive on campus. So you'll see there at the top, starting on Monday, August 18th is when we get to start feeding you during NSO. So as early as lunch on that Monday, students participating in new student orientation will be able to use the meal swipes already loaded onto their Penn card as part of new student orientation to grab meals all throughout NSO, all the way up to the first day of classes. And what's really exciting is we get to invite families and guests to join their students that Monday through Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll be able to join them for lunch and or dinner on those days as a way to get to dine with your students, come check us out, grab the food, get to eat like a student during those days. We're really excited to have this opportunity to do that again this year. You will receive more information about that in the coming weeks. There will be an opportunity to register online starting on August 1st. I promise you won't miss the email, and you'll have roughly 2 weeks to sign up for those meals, and then that just helps us to get ready for you. So more information to come on that, but you'll receive an email about how and when to register. Throughout the NSO program, we really have what we call our residential or our all-you-care-to-eat cafes open and available during NSO to make sure we're meeting the needs of the intense schedule, the very tightly and excellently organized schedule for students during NSO. So we have these locations to help our students get the nutritious, healthful, delicious food they need and be on to their next event. It's really only into the academic year when we get to expand into all the locations. So now during NSO is a great time to poke around to the different cafes, try some of the different food, and really eat at your leisure and at your schedule. We're still covering all the wide varieties of menu offerings and nutrition and diets that we have throughout the year, including halal options, kosher options, vegan, vegetarian, and everything in between. We'll have that during NSO and beyond. So we just want you to show up, sign up and register for the meals if you want to join us, and you'll just be using the swipes already on your card. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about what going into the academic year looks like. So as I mentioned, your NSO dining plan is going to carry through that Monday, the 25th, which is that last day of NSO. Again, every student participating in NSO already has the new student orientation swipes loaded onto their Penn card. It's on that first day of classes, Tuesday the 26th, is when whatever plan that you signed up for will begin in earnest. And also on that same day is when we expand to our full 14 cafes across campus. That's the residential, as I mentioned, the all-you-care-to-eat cafes, as well as our retail grab-and-go locations. Then you'll be off and running with your full academic year dining plan for the fall. As I mentioned, you would have signed up for a dining plan over the summer, but for those that didn't have an opportunity to do so, that's okay. A default dining plan was loaded onto your account just to make sure you have swipes loaded and you're ready to eat with us. But we give students the first 3 weeks of the academic year. So starting in that first day of classes all the way through into mid-September, you'll have an opportunity to test drive your dining plan. And we strongly, strongly encourage this. So you may have received, well-intentioned advice from an older sibling or a friend or somebody else that you know that went to Penn before. But really the best dining plan is the one that's going to work for you. We give you almost a month to eat when you're hungry, when your schedule allows, figure out where your classes are, what sort of foods do you like. Maybe you're eating new foods that you've discovered here that you've never had before. And then you can make a really good decision about, am I on the right dining plan for me, or do I want to switch to the other first-year dining plan? Again, you will get plenty of information and plenty of communication about that once the new year starts, but that's just something to look forward to, that even if you selected your own plan and you want to change it later, that's okay. You can do that during the first 3 weeks. And again, nutrition, sustainability, and wellness tools, we're going to communicate a lot of that to you everything from our Green to Go program, which is a sustainable way of taking food away from our all you care to eat cafes and eating it at your leisure, or all the sustainability efforts that we engage in with Penn Dining, from our, reducing food waste and everything on the back end to reduce our overall footprint, and the nutrition and wellness. I'll share that there are 2 registered dietitian nutritionists that we have on staff who actually will work with students one-on-one. Some of you may have already begun emailing with them before the beginning of the year just to get a feel for what Penn Dining is going to look like for you. But we'll have plenty of information that we'll send your way, probably more than you're expecting, to make sure that you're set up and you can navigate the cafe safely and find the food that's going to work for your diet. So I'm just going to pause for there, and we're going to move into the next slide. I'll turn it back to Alice for our Q&A session. Thanks.
Thanks, Ted. All right, we've had a lot of questions rolling in, and I'm going to start. One of the most frequent questions that we've gotten is, will there be support for, and I'm gonna combine a few questions, Penn Quest, pre-orientation, Penn Arts, and other early arrival students? Mark, I think this might be a good one for you to answer, or possibly David.
I can start with that. So students who are arriving as part of a pre-orientation or early arrival program, again, I'll broaden that out, just like you did, who are arriving on August 16th and 17th will have street parking available, as well as the complimentary garages. Pen cards for those students will be available at the info centers of the buildings instead of at a tent. And there will be moving carts available for those students as well. For any other move-in date, you're going to need to refer back to the program that you're coming in with. But for those 2 days, we will continue to have those services.
Mark, did you mention, I was kind of scanning through, but did you mention parking on those days?
Yes, when you arrive to campus, you'll still be able to park in designated parking spots, no reservation required beyond your time slot. Be able to park in parking spots, unload your student for an hour, and then you're welcome to park in a garage for complimentary until 9 p.m. on one of those 2 days.
Great, thank you. David, I think this will be a good question for you. And that is, what NSO events will there be for parents, family members, etc.?
Okay, let me come back here. Okay, I think you should be able to both see and hear me.
I see you.
So family events go on the very first day of NSO. I know this is going to be a hard thing for many parents to hear, but really after the general welcome that goes on from the College Hall steps on the first day of NSO, it's time to say goodbye. It's difficult to say goodbye, we know that, but the bulk of NSO events are specifically for students. And honestly, it helps the students if they're not also trying to navigate the parent relationships as well as immerse themselves at Penn. So that is how we view NSO. But there are going to be parents events that go on for much of the first day, and that will be available in our calendar, which will go live around August 1st.
Thank you. Ted, could you talk more about the meal exchange program and if it's a good option for celiacs to find more options?
Yeah, sure. So meal exchange, again, there's definitely a lot more information about dining, and I'm sure my colleagues would share the same about their respective areas as well. But to touch on this briefly, meal exchange is an option for students to use a meal swipe that's part of their dining plan at what we call our retail location. So these are locations that are typically using dining dollars for grab and go. But meal exchange is a pre-bundled meal, or a variety of menu offerings that you can choose from that would comprise a complete meal, and you can use your meal swipe rather than using your dining dollars. This is just an Another way for students to make the most out of their meal swipes and their dining plan overall, Meal Exchange is open at most of our retail locations. So really you can use a meal swipe pretty much throughout our entire system. So 12 of the locations you can do that. When it comes to the appropriateness for a specific diet, that's really up to the student and what they're looking for. And as I know I got a chance to respond to that, the individual question, definitely encourage you to reach out to one of our RDNs. There's information on the wellness page of our website to learn more. Meal Exchange is not just for one type of diet or dietary restriction or no restriction. It's really a good opportunity for all students, depending on how they like to eat. But definitely encourage you to follow up with our RDNs if you have questions about celiac or any other food allergy or dietary restriction.
Thanks, Ted. Mark, where do we reserve the time for move-in time and date?
Yes, so once your student has confirmed their room assignment, they will be able to select a time slot in the same website, which is the RHS portal, if I'm correct. So they have to confirm their room. My Home at Penn, my apologies. That's going to be available via the My Home at Penn website. So they're going to confirm their room assignment, and as soon as that's done, they're going to be able to select their move-in time slot. It's all going to be there for you. If your student is participating in a pre-orientation program, so if they're arriving the 16th or the 17th, they're going to get that additional direction for move-in through that pre-orientation program, outlining what time they need to be to campus, and they should follow that direction. If you're arriving the 18th, 19th, or 20th, you'll be able to select a specific hour that you intend to arrive to campus. Please note that we have enough time slots for every student moving into the college houses. So if there's a specific time that you and your student are trying to arrive and you're not seeing it populate, it may very well have filled up already. Which means that we are at capacity for who we know we're going to be able to bring in, given that it is all street parking around the college houses. And with that, you're going to come to campus and you're going to go straight to the college house, unload your student, and then you're welcome to move your vehicle to a parking garage from there. And that's all encompassed in that hour that you sign up for online.
Mark, where can we find this information online? I know at the end I'm going to share the residential services website, but maybe actually maybe we can have Kristen drop the day of move-in information into the chat. And I will just let you all know that when we drop the day of move-in information into the chat, on that page, you can find, it's listed in alphabetical order, the college house that you will be moving into on that page. And it will give you very detailed instructions on what you will do the day of move-in. I think you'll find that really helpful for what's specific to what you'll need to do that day. Will there be wheeled baskets or carts for move-in assistance?
Absolutely. We have red and blue, as is Penn, moving bins available for rental to any college house student. Those are available either at the info centers or at a tent adjacent to the college houses. You'll see them. We have signs that say carts here, and we'll have staff available to sign those in and out for students. Please be advised with that your student does need to be the person to check out the cart. And they do need to have stopped to pick up their Penn card before getting their moving cart.
What channels, David, this is for you. What channels and ways can Penn parents connect with each other?
Oh, that is a very good question. And I actually am not sure that I have an answer for that. I should talk to the Penn Parents Program. Let me do that. That's gonna. I assume you mean before, obviously, arriving on campus. Is that coming together prior to.
I'm seeing the question and I saw it twice, but you reference a Penn Parents program. So I think that would be a good place to direct our guests
Yeah,
to perhaps look up Penn Parents program. And I think that would be a good start for connection.
I'll see if I can put that in the chat here.
Great. Do we street park or garage park on move-in day?
So when you arrive to campus with your student, you're going to go straight to the college house, and there will be street parking available for 1 hour at the college house. After that 1 hour, the goal of that is for you to unload your vehicle. You will then move to a garage for the remainder of the day if you'd like to stay and help your student unpack and decorate. So the short answer is both, but you'll start with street parking and then move to a garage.
Is it possible to ship orders from Amazon to the dorm before the move-in date? Mark? Or Mark, do you want me to answer this one?
If you could, my stuff cut out.
Sure. So if you would like to have to ship from Amazon, you would pick our on-campus Amazon pickup location. It's called Amazon at Penn. So when you're in the Amazon, on the Amazon website, in the Amazon portal, you don't need to know the address. Just choose the Amazon at Penn hub. And the pickup is right here on campus. It's in the 1920 Commons building. And you will be able to go to that building, and there's lockers. There's Amazon pickup lockers in that building. And that is the best way to have items from Amazon shipped to campus. Do students need to bring their own vacuum cleaners, cleaning products, brooms, etc. to campus, or are they provided in each dorm?
Yes, we encourage you to bring your own cleaning supplies. For your individual room, we do service communal areas, community bathrooms, things like that. Those are serviced by our housekeepers. But for your individual rooms, desks, things like that, we do encourage you to have your own small kit of cleaning supplies.
Where do we reserve the time for move-in date? Where do we reserve our move-in date time? Did I already ask that one, Mark?
Everything for that is all through My Home at Penn. As your student confirms their room assignment, it will help prompt them through selecting that arrival time.
Okay. Is there a suggested list of what students will need for their room, especially a list of things that are allowed or not allowed?
Hello, it's me again. Yes, we do have a prohibited items list available on the residential services website. When you look at the resources tab, there is a drop down that outlines what is and is not allowed. We have also sent out a couple of emails which link to some information about what to bring and what to leave at home.
In fact, there was an email sent to all incoming students today that has the link to what to bring and what to leave at home. If I could just take a moment to share some things not to bring that you may not have thought about. Peel and stick wallpaper and sticky LED lights and your sticky command strips. Those are not allowed in the college houses. So we ask that you please leave those at home. Thank you. If packages get delivered to your mailing address, not Amazon at Penn, so non-Amazon packages, where do you find them? Is it a long processing time?
So your mail-in packages that go to your mailing address can have a little bit of a delay since everybody's arriving to campus at the same time, which is why we encourage you to send things about a week early. But your students will receive an email once it's been processed, which will outline exactly where they should go to pick up their mail. So we do have 2 mail-in package centers in the college houses, and during the move-in period, we operate a third separate location. So your student just needs to keep an eye out for that email, and it will say exactly where they need to go.
And there are 2 questions in the chat, one about the mini fridges and one about microwaves. Again, we suggest please go to our website where it's information about what is allowed and what not allowed. And then there's also the vendor for the allowed micro fridges, for the micro fridges that are allowed in the rooms. And for those, there's some folks who maybe have just joined the call. Yes, this is being recorded and it will be shared on the new student orientation website that has been dropped in the chat. It was dropped in the chat in the beginning, and maybe we can drop it in the chat again in the end for folks who weren't on in the beginning. And we do have the link for the information for parents. We'll drop it into the chat, but it's upenn.edu/parents. How do students manage storage at the end of their first year?
So at the end of the year, we do a donation drive. So students who have items that are generally used, they're welcome to donate those. We have a partnership. We had a partnership this past year with Goodwill. And so those items were circulated back into our local community. Outside of that, there are a variety of storage options available for students. One of the ones that we link to is called College Butler, but there are many other services out there for students to get boxes, packing supplies, and they'll do pickups from campus for students as well as help bring items back for students in the fall. So there's plenty of options available.
And I am seeing quite a few more questions in the Q&A about shipping to campus. If you all check with your students, back on July 10th, there was an email about packing and shipping that was sent that has a lot of really helpful information about how to ship items to campus. It's also found on our website. There is a resources, the residential services website. There is a resources tab that has a whole page dedicated to packing and shipping, where you can find a lot of good information there. I think someone on our team can probably drop that page into the chat too. But check with your student to look for an email that came out July 10th that will have lots of information about the address to use for shipping items to campus, not only for move-in, but if you want to send your students care packages, etc., throughout the year. Ted, this question's for you. Do our meal swipes and dining dollars transfer from fall 2025 to spring 2026, and then from spring 2026 to fall 2026?
Yeah, good question. We are definitely, I appreciate this question, looking quite far ahead, but it's a good one. So the way that the dining plan works is you are enrolled in a plan for the entire academic year, and then there's a semester allocation of swipes, meal swipes and dining dollars for each the fall and the spring. For each plan, and I'm going to focus on the 2 first-year plans, the meal swipes, you will have the entire semester to use, and then unused swipes expire at the end of the fall. Dining dollars, if unused, do roll over into the spring, and then in the beginning of the spring, you're going to get your second allocation for that time. And again, you have the spring to use all of your meal swipes and then all of your dining dollars. At the end of the academic year, everything will expire, and then we will start again for the new year next year. So that is to say that nothing carries over from one academic year to the next. I did mention this before, but just as a reminder, using that first 3 weeks of the fall is a great chance for the students to test drive to figure out how am I eating, when do I like to eat, Am I finding a lot of success with meal swipes and I can count on those meals and it's a great opportunity to use meal exchange and all you care to eat and everything in between? Do I find that I am trending more toward a plan where I'm using more dining dollars than I am meal swipes? You really get a chance to try that out in the first weeks of the fall. I didn't mention this, but it's a great question about the spring. You have the first 3 weeks of the spring semester as well to make a change to your plan. We completely recognize that your course schedule might change, your practice schedule may change, maybe you're in season in one semester and out of season in another if you're on an athletics team, or just, you know what, I found that my dining plan, I either ran out or I didn't have enough, or maybe I had more than I thought I would. You have the first 3 weeks of the spring to go through that exact same process because we don't want you stuck on a plan in March that you had to choose back in September. So the first 3 weeks of each semester, you'll get a chance to change. And during that time is a really great chance to get a real good feel for which plan is going to work for you.
Thanks, Ted. Does it matter which day you arrive between 8:18 and 8:20?
Not unless there's a specific program you're participating in. We welcome you to arrive on any of those 3 days that work best for you and your student. The important thing is that you select an available time slot for arrival, so that way we can ensure that we have the space to be able to have your vehicle parked next to the college house and staff available to assist you and your student with your move-in.
Thanks, Mark. And Mark, you may as well just stay on because they're all coming in for you. How do I, and Mark, this is, I think this has been addressed, but this question is still coming in. So I think we might want to continue to address it. How to book a move-in / parking slot. So I think we might want to clarify that for August 16th.
So for August 16th and 17th, it's going to be both days. Your program that you're coming in with is going to tell you what time to arrive. You will just select in the website that you're coming on that day. Because the program is dictating when you arrive, we are kind of matching that in with our schedule. So they basically pre-assigned what time you're showing up. So as long as you're following the pre-orientation program guidance for arrival, we will be able to accommodate you.
And just so everyone can rest easy, if you arrive on the 16th, you'll be able to stay in your dorm room through your college house through classes beginning, correct?
Absolutely. Once you and your student have arrived to campus, collected a Penn card, and formally checked into the room, your student is home. They are here. They are welcome to spend every night with us until they are told that it is time to move out, which is a different conversation.
Do all of our college houses have air conditioning and heat? And can you bring fans?
Yes, yes, and yes. So our heating and cooling is seasonal. So right now, cooling is on. As we get into the fall semester and things start to get colder, we continually monitor and assess with our partners in facilities and real estate services to assess when we're going to switch the system from cooling to heating. That process, once started, takes about a week, and we send out ample notices to the students to let them know that that change is coming. Then we will run on heat through the winter months into the spring semester. And in the spring semester, as things start to warm up, we do the same process again in reverse, where we closely monitor the weather and consult with our partners in facilities to assess when we're going to switch things back over to cooling. And students are absolutely welcome to bring a fan with them.
Mark, where can you find room layouts for the rooms?
We have some drawings on the Residential Services website. There's additional information in Campus Express regarding room layouts.
On the website, we also have 360 photos of many of our college house rooms, and they're also really helpful for understanding layouts and how some students have their rooms set up. Mark, how many guests are allowed for move-in?
Due to all of the students arriving back to campus around the same time, we strongly encourage everyone to limit themselves to 2 guests plus the student. If you need a couple of extra hands on deck, that's okay. We will do our best to accommodate that, but it is particularly important that every family is limited to 1 vehicle and that students do their best to only bring 2 guests with them on their move-in day.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you, everyone. We have a lot of questions coming in, and I really appreciate that. We've gotten to a lot of them. A lot of these questions are also very specific. So what I want to encourage everyone to do here is to maybe take a screenshot or a photo of our contact information here. A lot of what is being asked is found on our websites here, especially the move-in information. We have a lot of residential services has a lot of information about what is recommended to bring, what isn't recommended to be brought, or what is not allowed in our college houses, and a lot of really detailed information about what to expect on move-in day on the residential services website. And there also, here are the email addresses that you can reach all of our departments and areas if you have more questions. So we really encourage you to reach out. Everyone is very responsive, and we want you to have the best experience getting started as possible. Here are also some key dates and reminders, some things that you just want to be aware of so you can get started successfully. In Campus you will confirm your room assignment in Campus Express. You need to have that done by August 1st. I believe almost everyone has done that already, but if you haven't, please confirm your room assignment by August 1st. You'll need to select your move-in and arrival time by August 12th. And if you have any questions about that, you can still reach out to, that's residential services. That's the living email address. And you'll be able to register your guests starting August 1st. I do want to let everyone know that we will have the website to register your guests will be down that weekend. So you will not be able to register your guests on Saturday and Sunday, August 2nd and 3rd. So if you go to register your guests on the 2nd and 3rd and you can't, don't worry, you'll be able to register them again starting on Monday, August 4th. And then our move-in dates for most students are August 18th through 20th. So we just want to thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you very much. And we all really look forward to seeing you in August. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And please reach out with your questions. See you in August. Bye.